Today I'm going to be doing my first pin turning, and actually this is going to be my first lathe turning period. Before this I haven't done any lathe work, I haven't turned anything, so this will be a first for pretty much everything on the lathe. I made some quick jigs just to get me by on the bandsaw for cutting my blanks and for the drill press for drilling the center holes through the blanks. Later on I do plan on building some better jigs for both of these applications, and I will be videoing them after I get them all designed up. I didn't realize that my light on my drill press would be so bright for the video, but I don't have any lighting above my drill press, so this is what I had to use. So here's the holes that are drilled out. I'm going to be gluing the tubes in with medium viscosity CA glue and the accelerator, and I just put the glue on the tubes and then put the accelerator inside the pin blanks and slide the tubes in. I did scuff up the tubes beforehand with 120 grit sandpaper, and now I'm going to be flushing up the pin blank with the tubes with a barrel trimmer. I believe that's what it's called. That just cuts down the ends of the pin blanks to sit flush with the tube inside. So here's my pin blank jig. I'm not really sure what it's called, but just set the pin blanks on there. I got a bushing kit for the type pin that I'm going to be turning, and set everything up on my lathe, and then I get turning. Now, I didn't trim the corners off, didn't think of it until afterward, but I'm starting off with a square radius carbide tip lathe tool to do out all the roughing until I get it cylindrical, and then I'll be moving over to a round carbide tip lathe tool to do all the shaping. Now, I noticed when I switched over to the round tip that I was getting some really long ribbons coming off of the pin blanks that was wrapped around the lathe, and I was having a hard time. I kept stopping to clear it out because I was having a hard time seeing, and a little bit later I realized that if I just take the back of my lathe tool and set it up on there, I can move it around and it'll fall off. And so I was able to keep everything running and still be able to get that off and see what I was doing. So here I'm just hitting it with some 600 grit sandpaper, and then I'll be going through the micro mesh, the whole setup on the micro mesh. I think I have 8 or 9 pads that I go through, and it goes up to 12,000 grit. I'm not sure what it starts at, but I know the end micro mesh pad stops at 12,000 grit. And here it is after the micro mesh. It looks pretty glossy just off of the micro mesh, and then now I'm going to be using some compound, Meguiar's compound, and that'll just smooth it out even further. And then after the compound, I'll go over it with some polish. And here's the result after the polish. So here I'm just taking the pin off the jig, and I don't have a pin press yet, but I did see Laney Shaughnessy's video of his pin press that he built, and I'll kind of probably base it around that idea. But until then, what I'm using is my Moxon style vise, and the thing about this is that I can turn the pipe clamp really slow, and it pushes all the fittings in nice and slow to make sure that everything's going in straight. So here I'm pressing in the pin's transmission, and I'll press it in so far, and then I'll check the distance that the ink cartridge comes out the tip, and then I'll continue to press it in a little bit at a time until I get the right distance that I want coming out of the tip. And here's the finished pin completely assembled. This is, like I said, my first pin turning, and in all actuality my first lathe turning of any kind, so I don't think it went too bad. I think the lathe is a lot of fun. It's something I'm going to be using quite a bit in my shop, so look forward to future projects on the lathe. Thank you everybody for watching. If you liked this video, please like, subscribe, and comment. And until next time, stay safe.